How's it going, you guys? Welcome to another episode of That Old Dodge. I'm Jeremy Collins, as you know. Hit subscribe, Maccabee Music. I'm a rapper as well. Scroll down in the video feed there. Check out my music videos. Let me know. This is episode number 2, and we're going to be doing an oil change on the old Dodge. If you follow this video and the steps, you can pretty much do an oil change on any truck or car. But right now what we're doing is the 5.9 liter Cummins diesel engine, baby. Now the first thing we're going to do before we get into it is we're going to fire up the engine, let it idle for a couple minutes, then we're going to turn it off, and that'll get all the oil nice and hot and thinned out, and it'll all pour out. So let's fire it up. Tools that we're going to be using on this job today: you got your oil filter, ran me about $20, some Grease Monkey gloves so that you don't get oil all over your hands, some WD-40 for all those tough bolts, oil filter pliers, these are good. You can also have a strap wrench, either one works. It's good to have a crescent wrench on hand in case you can't get that bolt out underneath. This is a magnet bolt tray here, so any little small parts that you take off the truck, put in here, and keeps all that ground goop from getting on your clean stuff that's going to be in the inside of your engine. Funnel, if you got a funnel, good to have one of those on hand for the refill, and some rags. Here's your oil pan for the ground. You drop all the nasty oil into that. Then you're going to replace the oil in the motor with this 1540 Royal Purple, full synthetic oil, diesel engines only, and a socket set. Always good to have when you're working on the truck. So let's get after it. Take your trusty piece of cardboard and you lay that down. Then you grab your socket set and all the tools you're going to need for underneath. Okay, so here we are under the truck. This here is the oil pan at the back of the engine. This here bolt on the bottom is what you're going to want to take out. And I've just determined that I don't have a socket big enough to fit this bolt, unless this spark plug one will work. No. So I'm gonna have to resort to using my crescent wrench, which is which is a small one. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna have to get a bigger one, and I got a Big Daddy out back. So oh, it just fits on there. So let's see if we can get this off. Oh, yeah, you're going to want to get your oil pan ready. Yeah, so I'm going to have to devise another way to get this bolt off. It's clearly on there pretty tight. Okay, so what's happened here is I can't get this bolt off. It's on there pretty tight. I don't have any sockets that are big enough to get onto this bolt. So I got this little wrench. It didn't work. So what I'm going to do is take the WD-40. Spray a little bit of that on there, not too much, just a bit. Okay, so that's the penetrating spray. Now what I've done is I've went and got a Big Daddy wrench. Get that big wrench on her. Get your oil pan ready, because once you crack that bolt, she could start pouring. Usually doesn't, usually waits till the last thread or two to start spewing, but we'll see what happens here. There we go. Which way? Righty tighty, lefty loosey, as usual. Yeah. Oh no, I'm tightening it. Never go full retard. There you go. So that was real easy to get off with the big wrench. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna back it off, back it off, back it off. At the last minute, it'll start splooging out. Now, if more oil comes out than this pan, it's good to have a backup jug somewhere, so I'm gonna go grab something quick. Okay, we're back. We got an old paint can. I'm gonna keep that on standby. We'll see. So let's undo this plug here. It's good to pull your sleeve up because the oil sometimes does drain down your arm, or you have your arm at an angle that it drains off your fingertips. Maybe I'll use this hand. Another thing you can do is push up on the bolt and thread it out, and that way it's your choice when that bolt falls down. So I can feel it getting close. Oh, there it goes. Okay, we can see that is some pretty black oil that's coming out. You take your bolt and you put it into your tray. And that's what that's for. So we're coming about halfway up the pan. It's still chooching. Okay, we got about another ½ inch. It's not slowing down. It's not slowing down. It looks like we might have to do the switch. I'm gonna do the switch because I don't want to spill that. Okay. It's a little harder than I thought. Take your time, you don't want to spill any of this. Okay, now that's on the ground. Now if this fills up, I'll have to resort to just popping my bolt back up in there, and we are getting close. Oh, there we go. Getting some air bubbles. Got about an inch left, we're up to here. Looks like we just have enough. My hands are full of oil, or I'd show you. You want to get it all out of there. Still coming out a little bit. We'll wait till that drains all the way out. And then we'll put this bolt back in. It's good to inspect your bolt too. You look on the bottom side of that bolt there, I don't see any metal shavings. Sometimes if you see metal shavings all over that, then you know you got metal shavings in your engine. For my next magic trick, we're gonna remove the oil filter. Now for me, this air hose here is kind of in the way. I could probably get away with not removing it, but I'm going to. So in that case, I take my 7/16 wrench, and I'm gonna be taking off this here hose clamp, removing this hose, and then we can get at the air filter. Go. We'll lift that up and out of the way. Now we're gonna take our trusty offset filter pliers, and we don't know if this is gonna be easy or if this is gonna be hard. But once again, it's lefty loosey, righty tighty. Hard to remember. Come on. Okay, we're crunched into the sides. Hey, give her a tug. She's turning a little bit. Am I doing this right? Yep. You sure am. It's coming. And there we go. So we got it with the pliers to the point where it's probably hand crankable. And I'm gonna wanna take her slow again because you don't want it to drop off and spill the oil all over your driveway. So what I've done is I've gone and put cardboard down on the ground in case anything comes out. Oh yeah, it's already spilling out. Okay, I'm gonna put it back on and I'm gonna get some spill pads. This ain't good. Okay, so here we are again. What I've done now is I've got a bucket down on the ground. So what I'm gonna do is loosen this off again and let it drain out into that bucket until there's nothing left. And then at that point, I will remove the filter. I'm going the wrong way again. I'm bad for that. Okay, here we go. Slowly twisting and it'll start puking. There it is, it's coming out now. Looks like there's actually not that much more to go. Looks like that was it, just a little bit. So now, we're gonna continue turning it until it drops off. Committing and getting your hands oily. That's okay. Ruined my third pair of grease monkey gloves today. There we go. Out she comes. And into the bucket she goes. I'm gonna let that drain out. Now we got all the old oil out of the truck. Here's a total crazy fun fact. Apparently a 12-valve Cummins can just burn straight motor oil. Old too, nasty stuff. So this here, which is left over for me, apparently I could just dump right in the fuel tank. She'll just mix with the fuel in there and she'll just burn. That's a pretty cool fun fact. Now you got your oil filter here, your new one. This is what the inside looks like. What you're gonna wanna do is you got this rubber gasket, and you're gonna wanna take a little bit of oil residue, which I have on these gloves. And you're gonna wanna just rub it in a circle around there. Just to moisten up that gasket, and then it seats properly when it goes on. So let's get in there and let's go screw it in. Reach down into there. You want to make sure it goes on straight, flat. You don't want to strip your threads. There we go, so we're on. Spin her up. Now, sometimes you have to take pliers off. Sometimes you have to use pliers to take the old filter off. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you need to put the new filter back on with pliers. It's only supposed to be hand tight. So I'm gonna go until I think it's nice and snug. It's squishing in that gasket, I can feel it. That's snug. Now what I've seen happen before is guys will just give it one more crank, but in that case I don't want to dent the sides of my new oil filter, so we're gonna just go hand tight and we're there. Okay, so we've had the bolt out for about 20 minutes now. It's been draining. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put this bolt back in. Good thing to do is take a rag, which I've already done, clean off the end of the bolt like I was explaining before, because that's gonna go into the housing of the engine. And let's go ahead and put the bolt back in. Now I don't need to crank it down with the big crescent wrench like how I had to take it off. I think the small one will do just fine. You know, you just want to get it tight enough that it's not going to rattle loose. I'd say that's good enough. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take the oil fill cap off, take your trusty funnel, clean it out. You don't want anything to get in your oil, hence to get into your motor. Put that in there. It's very important when you're refilling your oil, you don't want to just dump it all in. What you want to do is bring it up halfway, check your dipstick. Bring it up 3/4 of the way, check your dipstick. When you're getting close, don't go too full. It's real bad to go too full. And you want to just keep checking until you're finally just right there. And then what you're going to want to do is start up your, fire up the Cummins, let her idle for a couple more minutes, shut her down, recheck, and then fill as needed. So we're going to start that process right now. So here we go, we're going to start the refill process. You don't want to overfill, that's the main thing. Get my step ladder. Stand up nice and high. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your 1540 synthetic oil. Oh wow, it's black. Wasn't expecting that. Maybe it's purple. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put about half this jug in, check your dipstick. Keep doing that until you can see it on the dipstick. Okay, let's do that. Put that there. Pull out our dipstick. One thing you don't want to do is overfill your oil, so you have to come about it slowly. Okay, you clean it off and recheck. Yeah, see, we're not even showing on the dipstick yet, so we're gonna go ahead and keep filling. One thing you can do is leave your dipstick out, and that way you don't have to do the old dip clean. Let's go ahead and keep filling. Now remember, the oil filter is empty, so once you fire it up and run it a bit, that's going to eat up some of your oil, change your reading. That's why it's always important to run it and then check again. So now we've got almost the whole jug in there. Let's see if we're showing on the dipstick yet. Still nothing on the dipstick. Looks like I might be going back to Lord Cook. Which is fine by me. I'm going to go ahead and put the rest of it in because I know that I won't overfill it. It always looks... Oh, yeah, no. Nothing on the stick still. Try that once more. Nothing on the stick. Okay. I'm going to head to the auto parts store, pick up another one of these 1540 Royal Purples for $53.99, and I will be back. Got ourselves another jug of this Royal Purple 15W40, and we're just gonna continue on here. So what I'm gonna do is just check the dipstick, start off, see where we're at. I just dumped a little bit in before I turned the camera off, and it looks like we might just be registering on the stick. Take a look here. Yeah, we're just finally starting to register. Okay, we're just below where we want to be with the crisscrosses. We're about a quarter inch below, so I'm just going to dump the rest of this in. This will get me to the bottom of the safe zone, which is basically enough to drive my ass down and buy more. And there you have it. Add 2 quarts. We're at the bottom of the add 2 quarts line. So what we're going to want to do now, we've got all of our oil in. We're going to want to fire it up, run it for a minute or two, turn it back off, and recheck. Okay, so we just ran it for a couple minutes. So now what we're going to do is check this oil. Oh, it's nice pulling out that dipstick and actually seeing clear oil on it for a diesel. I heard that it'll probably be back to black in about a day or two, but oh yeah, see, now we're way down there, so it's clearly eating up a lot of oil. That's our safe zone, so we need to go buy a whole other one of these. We're gonna need about another 3 or 4 quarts. It's enough to get me back to the store, I guess. Well, that pretty much sums up the oil change. I'll top it up a little more, but you got the gist of it. Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Old Dodge.